everybody. Thanks for joining me as our weather has finally quieted down some as we go through the weekend for April 5th through the 7th. We are still feeling some of the after effects today of our storm, which is still close by and still giving us a few flurries, but mostly has diminished. And then as we head through the rest of the weekend, weather will be quieting down more. And of course, all eyes turn towards Monday and the eclipse, which right now looks really good weather-wise. Yeah, good stuff. So let's take a look at satellite imagery here. Oh, this isn't going to go into motion for you. Sorry about that. This should go into motion, but here's our storm, huge storm, and it's moving slow, which is good because this area is what we're looking for this weekend. This is what or for Monday, what we want for the eclipse, and this is what's going to be here for Monday for the eclipse because the storm here is basically cut off. It's not moving much. We'll see that on radar as we move to the next screen, and it is slowly going to kind of drift actually south and east once it on Sunday, and as it moves further away, we're going to move this ridge in, and we are going to split the difference here. Not so much for a lot of the rest of the eclipse path as it the Texas areas and some of the southeastern United States and kind of central part of the country that the eclipse is going to go through. You would have bet on them for having a chance, much better chance at good weather for this. April is not the greatest time for this to happen, but we're actually looking really good. So if you're trying to get out there to see the eclipse, obviously traffic's going to be insane. Who knows what it's going to be like. But even here, if you're not going anywhere and you're just here in southern Vermont with 97% totality, it won't be quite the same. Definitely it's a lot different to be in the totality than not in the totality, but it's not going to be, but you're going to see, this will definitely be much more impressive than the eclipse a few years ago where we were close to 1,000 miles away from the closest spots that saw the totality. If you're up in Middlebury, basically, that's about the line for totality. Certainly north of that, you're into the totality. And yeah, one of those things only happens a couple times during people's lifetimes unless you travel all over the world to see them in any one location. They're pretty rare, obviously. And so, yeah, thankfully, we're going to have good weather for it. Things worked out well, it looks like. Very pretty locked in on that. Here's our system. Pretty strong, 984 roughly, the low pressure system currently in the Gulf of Maine. That's actually come up a bit. You can see definitely a well-developed storm is actually starting to lose some of its oomph. This is a little overdone on the precipitation. There is some flurries falling, but for the most part, their flurries are not that bad. Upslope snow a little bit with this one, but not a ton. And as this continues, certainly we could see some flurries, even a snow shower, but with the warmer temperatures, the April sun, we're done with accumulating snow. Even in the favored spots that might see a heavier snow shower, basically are done with accumulating snow everywhere. So yeah, quite an impressive storm. I got about a foot of snow, maybe 12.5 inches of snow at my house. Areas around me certainly got 13, 14 inches. Up in the Killington area, close to 2 feet. That seemed like about the maximum for Vermont in general. But some of the valley locations did pretty well. This one, finally, a forecast that came in pretty close to what I was talking about a couple of days ago. Unlike all the systems that we've seen this winter. Finally got one relatively close to right. That felt good. Not because my forecasting somehow gotten better, but models kind of came in. It kind of did what we expected it to do for the most part. Power outages are getting better in Vermont. There still are quite a few, but definitely getting better. The snow was such that it wasn't, we were close. We were very close to being a really widespread event, but didn't end up being that between the wind and the heavy snow. It ended up being kind of, I would say, a moderate power outage issue. So I know most of us have gotten power back. Some of us still not, but hopefully today I think they'll get everybody back online. So yeah, that's kind of where things are at. Let's take a closer look in just so that you can kind of see what's really going on here. And as you can see, the coverage is diminishing of the snow showers and things like that. So things are getting better as we go through the day. Let's take a look at the overall map. Here's our low pressure system. Here's the high pressure that's associated with that upper level ridge across the central part of the country, and you can see that's what we're rooting for, right? High pressure to make its way over us, and it's going to happen. This is slowly going to move out, and this ridge is actually going to move kind of north and east, and it's going to fall right on top of us on Monday, which is exactly what we want. Here's the ridge on the upper level. Here's the two lows. We're in a slow-moving pattern, a lot of cutoff. This is kind of a cutoff low. This is close to a cutoff low out to the west, and so, yeah, we're definitely looking at kind of getting into typical springtime weather in terms of you get a lot of cutoff lows, which means you'll get stuck in these patterns. Sometimes it can mean you get stuck under a ridge, although this ridge is not real big, but you can get stuck under a big ridge with a low pressure system to your east or to your south, and you can end up in really nice weather, or you can get kind of stuck like we're going to be for the next couple of days in kind of gray as we've been all week with slow moving storms. But We're not going to get stuck under the next ridge is not going to be on top of us for a long time, but it'll certainly be here Monday. Tuesday looks pretty nice as well. Temperatures will also come up somewhat on Monday, and definitely on Tuesday will warm up a lot before we maybe get stuck more in a gray pattern going forward after that. But no more snow in the forecast. That seems to be, at least for the moment, we're done. Flurries today, so maybe a little bit of snow today, but no more accumulating snow. Doesn't mean we couldn't get any more. Certainly, we could get it for another month. We're definitely in the danger zone for that, but it gets less and less likely each week as you head this time of year. I always say to people this time of year, it can snow theoretically till almost the end of May, is at least definitely possible. Even into June, once in a while you can see a flurry, but generally snow is accumulating snow through the end of April is possible in southern Vermont, especially at elevation. But every week you go, it gets harder and harder. Everything's got to come together better and better to make that happen. Obviously it can. We just saw it. But all right, temperatures in the mid-30s today, kind of chilly. That's quite a bit below average. We're probably mid-40s, mid to upper 40s is our average high. We're going to be below average for the next few days before we actually move above average heading into next week. Tonight we hold on to the clouds, but they start to break up some. Temperatures in the 20s. Tomorrow we're in the upper 30s. Then we start to clear out upper 20s on Saturday night into Sunday. Sunday is nice. Temperatures of about 42 degrees, decent amount of sun. This is more clouds than sun, but a little bit of sun. This is more sun than clouds on Sunday. Monday looks full sun. You can see we're drying out the atmosphere. That's going to help us with those clear conditions as temperatures will fall a little bit more. It'll feel cold on Monday morning. It'll feel brisk. It'll feel like it's going to be a warming up day, though, and temperatures on Monday probably into the upper 40s for most of us, a few 50s in the valley location. So good viewing of the eclipse. That's a good thing. Let's take a quick look at the weekend highlights. Still feeling the leftover effects of the storm from the past couple of days. Flurries and clouds today, but no more accumulating snow. A couple peaks of sun Saturday and a lot of sun on Sunday. Weather looks really good for the eclipse currently, and temperatures will warm next week. So yeah, that's what's happening. I'm going to do my work week forecast on Sunday afternoon or early evening this week. So that we get the eclipse stuff in, so that if you want to get an eclipse forecast, I don't think it's going to change. I think we can pretty much lock in good weather for it, but I'll have some specifics of that, things like that, and give you some timing and talk about the eclipse a little bit more on Sunday. If you want to make plans for it, hopefully you've already made plans. I would say it's definitely one of these things. If you're not going anywhere for it, it'll still be really impressive here, right here at home for the eclipse. So again, one of those things only happens a few times in your life unless you really travel all over the world for them. So thanks for joining us, or thanks for watching my videos. Had a lot of people watch over the last few days. Had a lot of people subscribe. If for some reason you didn't subscribe the last couple of days, you can subscribe again today. And I do want to give a quick shout out to my patrons. They help support what I do here at the West River Weather Guy. If you're interested in becoming a patron, you can take a look in the link in the description below, and it talks about how you can do that. I will be back Sunday afternoon or evening, sometime before you go to bed on Sunday, with a look at next week's work week forecast, which will highlight Monday's eclipse forecast. We'll see you soon.